Got only the necessities.
Just
Steak
and milk?
and milk and beer.
Yeah, buddy. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Talon and I make new videos every single week. We have finally lucked out with some actual spring feeling weather here in Colorado. I'm out here by myself for now, but a friend should be joining me in just a little bit, and I've got a lot of stuff to talk about in this video. You will notice that on my Tacoma, I have no tent. So what am I gonna do, just sleep on the ground? We're not sleeping on the ground. We're doing something a little bit different today. Before we get into that though, gotta have a little bit of a talk. It's good news. May seem confusing to some of you, but gotta fill you in on something. So you guys probably know I've been doing this whole YouTube thing for quite a while, and I have a lot of other like kind of random side quests here and there, constantly working on projects, and I love basically everything that I've been doing for the past couple of years now. One thing in particular, some of you guys may have partaken in, others maybe not, but I do have a store over on my website, and I sell hats and shirts and water bottles and flags and hoodies and even like sweat shorts. A lot of good stuff over there, and I've been doing it myself for a couple years now, packing orders, answering customer emails and stuff like that, and it's becoming a lot. It's one thing to get outdoors and film videos and edit videos and stay on top of everything else business-wise, but it's a whole nother level when I'm like doing customer service stuff, going to the post office to ship out orders, and I love it. I thank everyone for the support who has ordered stuff over the years, but this is kind of a sad day, I guess. The store is closing. I had a spring sale going on, and I'm actually getting low on some of the inventory, so I cut the prices on everything, and starting in about 15 days, April 15th, I'm actually going to be closing the store for the foreseeable future. I'm not saying it's going away forever, but definitely going to be offline for at least a year. I need to kind of focus on video stuff and a bunch of other projects that I'm working on. So because of that, no more outdoor adventure culture gear, at least for the time being. It will always be around in some way, shape, or form, but I got other things to work on, and I can't just keep up with it doing everything myself. So from now until midnight on April 14th, you guys can get your very last orders in. I don't want to say last, like this isn't going away forever, but it's going to be gone for at least a year, maybe longer. If you enjoy these videos and you want to show your support, then head over to the website. Everything is super discounted right now. I'm going to pack, label, and ship your orders myself. And then once the store goes offline, I don't know, I guess I'll just let you know if I ever have time to get back around to doing that stuff again. So yeah, if anyone is already repping the outdoor adventure culture out there, I really appreciate you. And to anyone who happens to maybe place an order after watching this, I really appreciate your support. All that stuff goes a long way. I take that money and I wrap it back into fuel costs and filming costs and everything that is involved with running a channel where I'm putting out like 2, sometimes 3 videos a week. So yeah, thank you guys. Sorry if this bummed some of you out, but I guess that's all that I had to say for now. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. No tent on the truck. You can probably already tell by the title, and the thumbnail of this video, but I've got a new product to check out, and this was actually suggested by a few people in comments over the years and more recently over on Instagram. I'm not sleeping on the ground. I'm actually going back to a style of camping that I have not done in quite a long time, but this is one of the first ways that I actually started camping when I was younger in like high school and college days, and that is with a hammock. Now, hammocks have come quite a long way, and this one, at least from my understanding as of right now, is like pretty top tier as far as like features and quality goes. And I'm saying this from my perspective of like a $100 hammock with $40 straps tied in between two trees, and then you're kind of like tacoed all night. Generally not the most comfortable for people who are not familiar with hammocks, but this one, however, is probably going to be a little bit more accessible to people who are not familiar with camping in hammock, sleeping in it. Now, I haven't even opened this up yet, but this is a whole system coming from Haven Tents, or in this case, Haven Hammocks, I guess. This is their most like heavy duty system for hammocks, and they make a lot of them for camping and backpacking. I don't really care about weight because I just have everything in my truck and I'm not hiking up to find trees to set this thing up. We got these two trees right here, and I'm thinking they are pretty good distance apart to get this thing set up. So this right here is the Haven Safari, and I've got a whole kit of gear that came with it. So we're going to set this thing up. You guys are going to see this in real time. Haven't opened it, don't even know really what's in this pack yet, but we're going to set it up, and this is all I have to sleep in tonight. So let's see how it goes. So this is the kit that we're working with right here. I believe this is the hammock itself, and this right here is the insulated Safari air mattress. This says that it has an R4 insulation rating, and I'm going to talk about like the whole theory behind sleeping in a hammock and stuff in a little bit, but this is a really crucial part to sleeping comfortably inside of a hammock. Right now it's probably about 65 degrees out here. It'll probably dip into, I'm hoping like mid 40s, hopefully no lower than that tonight. But either way, I brought a 0-degree bag to throw inside of this thing, and I'm hoping I will be warm. So this is some really heavy duty canvas here. I'm gonna try to keep it off the dirt for now. This is the actual hammock portion, I believe. This right here is like a little kind of welcome mat, so you can kick off your shoes outside of your hammock. I guess everything that we need is wrapped up in here. Here we go. We've got some essentials, and these right here are going to be some features that makes this a little bit more comfortable than what I consider like a traditional hammock. We have these poles right here. This is actually going to spread out tension on each end of the hammock, allowing you to actually lay flat. Feels like some stakes in here. There we go. Straps and some tie downs. If I'm doing anything wrong here throughout setting this up, I apologize. Typically don't like reading instructions and stuff, and we want to test this thing out, see how easy it really is. So let's hope that these trees right here will work. Now I'm probably going to run these straps up pretty high here because obviously it's going to like sag down a little bit with my weight in it. And this is kind of what like a traditional strap is going to look like. There is a single loop over on this end, so I'm going to wrap that around the tree. And then the other side has a bunch of smaller loops in it, which will allow you to adjust the height of the hammock. So I'm going to go about a hand width above. I'm going to use that little kind of broken branch there to keep everything uptight. Now, if for some reason this is going to be too long and I actually need to cut up some slack because the top rung here is a little bit too close to that tree, I could probably just wrap it around this way because this tree is not very thick. So that's just kind of like a pro tip. I actually know a lot about hammocks. Maybe I should make some more videos on this stuff. Now from here, with the system that I'm used to, I just take some carabiners and hook it up and make sure the tension's right and everything, and I call it good. This one hopefully will be the same, and it looks like it is. Looks like I could get in and out of it from either side, so let's just hook one of these. I'm gonna go on the highest mounting point for now. Oh yeah, these trees will work perfectly. It's actually looking pretty dang good already. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind when setting up a hammock is that if a tree is a little bit taller off the ground than the other tree that you're connecting to, that doesn't really matter. All you want to make sure is that the hammock and the straps where they connect are relatively level all the way across. And I think with this setup, it's actually looking pretty good already. So I'll adjust it if I need to in a little bit. Now, I think I'm going to take these poles right here, find the zippers, and from photos and everything that I've seen, there are little connection points right in here, kind of like a camp chair, and that is going to keep each end of this spread out. This is that function that I was talking about that makes it a lot more comfortable, especially if you're not used to sleeping in a system like this. I'm already noticing some things on the inside here of the bug net. We have a few different storage options. I'll show you all that in a little bit. And then the insulation factor right here, R4 insulation rating. This is also going to give it a little bit of like structure and rigidity. They also include a pump if you order their like full works kit. I did make sure that I had this thing charged up before I left. So let's throw this inside. Now for inflating this, they have an in and an out valve. So if you want to get everything out, you can completely remove that. This orangish one here says out, and then the final cap says in. So we're going to have it just like this. The pump has a bunch of different attachments here. So I'm going to kind of guess here. Yeah, this one right here is a pretty good fit. So I'll put that adapter on, and now we're going to pump this thing up basically about as rigid as I could possibly make it. Double tap the fan. Sweet. It only took like maybe a minute to inflate, and I'm just going to leave the pump handy nearby because this thing is brand new, and a lot of times products like this need to kind of like stretch out after you have them filled with air. There's actually some little pockets that the mattress like slides down inside of on each corner, so that will hold that in place. It's a little windy right now as you guys can tell, but I think this is going to be pretty comfortable for the night. Now there are some more accessories, and I'm not sure if it's going to rain. I actually see some rain off in the distance, so let's see if I can get this thing covered up. Now I'm gonna have to wrestle this thing in the wind, get these sides staked down. Well, after battling with the wind for a little while now, I figured out how this thing goes together. It's actually pretty easy and intuitive. So you have these little anchors on the corner of the hammock itself, and they simply pop through and hold the rain fly nice and tight. Now for the tethers and the stakes, you can do this basically however you want, but what I've been doing is putting the line through here and then evening everything out. Then I'll just run the stake through the little eyelet on here, and this is how I'm going to pull tension. Now the ground around here is very rocky. Who would have thought? Rocky Mountains. I can simply put them in at a little bit of an angle. That way if the wind kicks back up, we'll hopefully hold a little bit tighter. These cords are also reflective, which is a nice touch because at night they're going to be very hard to see. Now you could do this with the little included cinch on here, but what I like to do is just kind of tie basically like a slip knot around here. That way I have two pieces of cord actually holding this down. And then once I get that in place, it actually looks tensioned pretty good, but if I need it tighter, I can pull it down like that. And that's the setup. This thing's pretty dang nice. And now for some of the accessories. There are whoopee slings included in this kit. So if your trees are a little bit too far apart, this will add up to a 6-foot extension, holds up to 400 pounds. And then to make this feel a little bit more like home, I have 4 extra stakes for this little Haven welcome mat. Might as well put that down. And then I could even string this across the top of the hammock. Now, last but not least, also in this kit, we have this kind of rubberized string light here, and this will go on the inside of the hammock. Can attach with these 2 little carabiners here, and that will give me some lighting in here for at night. I think the best way to get in here is to undo the 2 little tethers on the corner, and then the Rainfly also has another strap in the middle here to really cinch things down. As long as that wind doesn't come back tonight, I should be okay, but that'll give you a little bit of slack here, and I think that's how they want you to get in here. Good enough. The legend has made it. What up, dude?
Sup, dog? How are you?
It's been a while.
You're gonna sleep in a hammock, and I'm sleeping basically in just my house.
Which is nice.
I have a bed in here if you get too cold.
At least it's not a van. I would feel very...
Oh yeah, a van would feel like super...
It's like, really, bro? You gotta do that to me?
Yeah.
So this is Thor. If you guys have not met Thor before, they might have.
Maybe. It was a long time ago.
Four-wheel camper on a Dodge 2500. We'll probably hang out in here at some point tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna make steaks.
Yeah. If you want to cook in here, I got my whole kitchen kit.
We can do it outside.
Yeah,
Sounds nice.
That way it's not smoky in here.
Yeah. Got only the necessities.
Just
Steak
and milk.
And beer. So like I was like looking for like breakfast burritos, and like the whole wallet that I went to, like they didn't have like any breakfast burritos, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just eat cereal. That's like whatever.
Good enough.
Yeah.
This is great. My gosh. All right, so this is what we're dealing with right now. The wind decided to come back, and this thing is still holding strong for now. These flags up here, I'm just gonna take those off because that's just gonna whip around all night, and I don't need to be awake all night. I'm gonna be swinging around in this thing tonight. Yeah, buddy.
Do you have enough lights?
I think I have enough lights. So it is dinner time now. The W word has finally gone away for now. Hopefully it stays that way. We're not even gonna bring it up. I'm not gonna bring it up. You're sleeping in a rig that can handle it.
Yeah, I know. I'm fine.
The hammock hasn't moved, even with like, we probably had some like 40-mile-an-hour gusts there.
Yeah.
Easy. So yeah, we're cooking steak and potatoes because it's a boys' night.
Yeah, so it's called Typher. A buddy showed me. But these steaks have a probe through the center of them right there. And then this thing is like, kind of like AI, hashtag AI. Each probe has its own temperature setting, so I can go to this one and I can edit the temperature. So I want it to be like 132, and then I save it, and that's this steak. And then the other one is the right steak. So Talon's is at 135. I like mine a little bit more rare. And what's really cool is that it factors in the cooling time to the cook time.
So it'll like tell you it's done when it's at 125, and then as it rests, it
yeah, so because you're supposed to have it rested. And it'll also tell you like if your steaks are too cold, it'll like do a warning like, hey bro, these are a little cold, like it might not cook through properly.
Not quite done yet.
And then they have the app too. It's just right here, and it shows you all the same stuff, and it'll like go on your lock screen, and then they have like recipes and stuff. It's super cool. Like it'll show you the ambient temperature outside, like if it's in an oven, it'll show you like the ambient temperature of the oven to see if like your oven is actually 500 degrees or not. Like it's super sick.
Finished product right here. It's really all you need. So little did we know, the steak probes are numbered. We might have got the cooking time a little bit wrong, because we had them backwards, but they're numbered, so we know for next time. We're doing this tomorrow?
Might as well.
Just take 2. We gotta go get more steaks.
Dude, that thing, I forget, like, it doesn't matter how windy it is, dude. That'll burn your legs.
Thigh melting. So I've got both of my Howl campfires out here. The OG one that I bought, serial number 7. This is the R4. And I actually got serial number 7 of the R1 too. So they're matching, which is cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So the reason I have both of these out here right now is because I just filmed like a short kind of comparison video between the two. And I'm sure you guys will probably see it somewhere on the internet, whether I post it or Hal does, but that's the reason for double fires. Honestly, on a night like tonight, the R1 would be plenty fine. Give you a light, a little bit of warmth. We have the bar coal cranking on here right now, which is totally unnecessary. But the R4 is great if you're in cold environments all the time. All right, not the easiest thing to do, climbing in here while holding a camera and everything, but the hammock so far has done a pretty good job with the wind. I actually decided to leave all of the tether points connected at the bottom, so it was a little tight actually crawling in here, but that will hopefully keep the wind from flapping the rain fly around while I'm trying to sleep tonight. I also just noticed this little tether right here. I can bring that down and hook it. Can I do it one-handed? There we go. Now that will hold that tight. And we're nice and secure in here. Now from this angle, it does look a little bit like claustrophobic in here because these bug nets here are kind of like sunken in, but the rain fly is sitting up away from that. So this looks like I'm in a coffin right now, but it actually really doesn't feel that bad. If I knew the weather was going to be good, I would probably just take the rain fly off, and honestly, I could leave the bug nets open. It's still like cold enough in Colorado that we don't have many mosquitoes or bugs out right now, so you could really just sleep with this thing wide open, no bug nets at all, and then I'm up here off the ground. The mattress is pumped up very firm, and I actually haven't added any air to it, so that's a good feature. One of the reasons for an insulated mattress on a setup like this is mainly for the wind that is going to be coming underneath the hammock. If you just laid in some kind of like nylon fabric hammock and you didn't have anything underneath you, it doesn't matter what the temperature is outside, with the wind running underneath you, you're probably going to get cold. So in the situation that I'm in right now, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I've got my 0-degree bag, which I might not even crawl into tonight unless it really gets down into like the maybe upper 30s. Last I checked, it was going to be mid 40s, and I'm hoping it stays that way. As you can see, the light strip in here is on, and I've got plenty of room. Just kind of stretch out a little bit. Again, laying flat in a hammock and being able to do this is super nice. And then another feature on the Haven Safari is that there is a cinch strap kind of found like right outside, and it wraps underneath my back to the other side of the hammock. I actually cinched that up tighter, which kind of like raised this side of the hammock. So I'm pretty sure that's to like adjust your angle of the way that you're laying. So maybe if your feet are a little bit higher than your head, you can kind of like sit up in the hammock a little bit more. And that's something that's new to me. Again, I'm just used to like basic old hammocks. So having blow up mattress, lights, bug screens, rain fly, this is kind of like luxury. Now it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I've got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, so I'm hoping I sleep good in this thing. We're gonna find out. I'll check in with you guys in the morning. Good morning again. That was a successful night last night. Did get a little bit windy and a little bit chilly, maybe around like 4 o'clock in the morning, but I slept pretty dang good in the hammock, and I found out a couple more things about it too. Now, unfortunately, Thor did have to leave earlier this morning, so it's just me out here for now, but that's okay. Let's take a look at the Haven Safari. Now, I haven't really adjusted anything with the rain fly or anything, so you can see that the knots that I put in there did loosen up a little bit overnight, but I am glad that I slept with this thing actually tethered down, because it kind of helps keep the wind out, although there are obviously openings from the rain fly on each side. And then also the elastic cord in the middle, that made a huge difference from it flapping around all night. And those are found on both sides of here, so it's not going to go anywhere. This is that kind of cinch strap that I was talking about. So you can see I have it cinched up a little bit, and it's pulling tension underneath where I was laying, like my head and back. But if you want it to droop down a little bit more, it's hard to do one-handed. So you can give that thing more slack, and now it will lay flatter too. So I'm pretty sure that is actually what that's for like kind of adjusting your angle, and that worked out pretty well. There are also vents right here, so I did feel some cold air coming through here once it did get colder out there. I don't know if I would want to sleep in this when it gets like super cold. I think maybe if there was some kind of like Velcro or a way to close up that vent, it would be nice, but most people are probably going to be sleeping in one of these when it's warmer outside. So it had some good ventilation all the way across. So this would kind of be the other option for sleeping in here. You could remove the rain fly, you could have the bug nets all the way unzipped, and you could just be laying out here in a flat hammock looking up at the night sky. So on a really warm night when there are no bugs, I think that would actually be pretty nice. But last night, the system, full system with the light, the insulated mattress, the rain fly and everything, it did pretty dang good. Now, as far as sleeping positions go, I typically like to fall asleep on my back, or that's just like how I fall asleep. But then with the wind and like waking up occasionally from rocking around in that wind, I do tend to roll around a little bit. So I was actually even able to sleep on my side for a little while here. I probably woke up twice, like once earlier this morning with the wind, and then once again once the sun started hitting the canvas of this thing. But it still felt like a decent night's sleep. Then again, I am used to sleeping in hammocks in the past, but this one was a little extra comfortable because of how you can lay flat. Now, the breakdown of this should be fairly easy. There's just a lot of bags and a lot of like little moving pieces. Not as easy as a rooftop tent, which I am of course very used to at this point. But if you want a lightweight setup for a vehicle, you're not worried about the weight of the gear that you're carrying, then an option like this would be nice. Another thing which I didn't even do or even mention was my truck is completely free to leave right now. So I could come here and set up my camp like you would a ground tent, and I could go out, wheel around, explore the area, and go places while holding down my campsite. I rarely do any like long-term camping like that where I'm staying in the same spot for like multiple days in a row. But with a setup like this, it is an option. Now, if you're looking for a hammock like this, but you do actually want to carry it in a backpack, if you're hiking around and doing like a long multi-day backpack trip, this Safari is probably not going to be the one for you, because this is the kind of heaviest duty version that they make. It's not super heavy in my opinion, but when it comes to people who are counting ounces with backpacking setups, this is not going to be the one for you. They make more lightweight versions for people who are into that sort of thing. But if you want an easy setup that you can throw into the bed of your truck, throw into a box like I have right here, I think I'm going to give this one a thumbs up.
well, I guess that concludes my test of the Haven Safari for now. Very easy to figure out right out of the box. I just kind of set it up pretty intuitively and it performed really good, even all the way down to about 40 degrees like it was last night. Now the main question is something like that going to replace my love for a rooftop tent? And maybe if I gave it more time, but as of right now, probably gonna say no. Rooftop tents are much more expensive. It adds a lot of weight to your vehicle and it's not always ideal for every situation, but with the style of camping that I like, kind of fast, moving around, different setups every single day. When it comes to like actual overlanding, a ground tent and a hammock setup like that, something that's kind of fixed away from the vehicle, isn't really my speed, but I think the Haven products are a really good start for someone who may be interested in hammock camping, but they're not comfortable in like an old school, just like sling nylon hammock in between two trees. So I'm curious to know what thoughts you guys have on hammock camping. Have you done it before? Are you into that kind of style, or are you more like me, a little bit more vehicle based, something a little more permanent that is easier to set up and break down? The breakdown honestly didn't take that long. I probably got everything cleaned up in about 5 minutes there, but not quite as quick as just closing the lid on a rooftop tent. So that's all that I had for this video. If you guys have any questions on the Haven setup, let me know in the comments down below. The next style of camping that I'm gonna be testing out is probably gonna be back in a rooftop tent. Obviously there's nothing on my Tacoma right now, but we're going to change that here in just a couple days. So stay tuned to see what setup I'm gonna be testing out next, and drop some recommendations down below too if there's something that you wanna see me try. If you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.